so much.
Right, welcome back everybody. It's Wednesday morning now and I'm back in this little room. And I must say, it's not like me, but I'm feeling very uninspired this week. I think I quite like this new way of working. Just don't book anything in too tight, and if a 2-day job turns into 3 days, okay, your price isn't as good, but your body ain't what it used to be. But sometimes it's more about looking after yourself, isn't it? We're just going to skim the walls in here today, so I've decided to split this job into 3 days work. So all I'm going to be doing today is going to get the rest of this room done, which consists of that wall, and that wall, and that is where I'm leaving it today. And then tomorrow I'm going to come back and just pick off this ceiling. So obviously once I'm finished in that room, we can shift everything. The customer, she's not long moved into this house. This is what it looks like. This is all obviously temporary stuff. Got a couple of dogs hanging about as well, who are no bother at all. So yeah, so then tomorrow it's just going to be this ceiling, and then Friday I think I'm just literally going to be looking at work. Welcome back everybody. It's day 3 of this 2-day job. So for those that have been watching this week, you'll know that I've just been feeling a little bit like, oh, I can't be bothered this week. Which is not like me at all, but I think I'm just had enough really. Just had enough, and I'm just having a bit of a quiet week. But anyway, enough of that. What we're trying to do is the lady's moved into this house, and obviously she doesn't want to spend more than she needs to. And I'm trying to convince her that you can do a lot with filler and paint. You know, I'm trying to save her the job, really. Not doing myself out of work. You know, I've always got plenty of work ahead of me. So, you know, if I can save a customer a few quid, I always will, really. And I'll try and teach them that sometimes, you know, you can just do these things on your own. So this wall stripped. What it was yesterday, she was stripping this wall. She'd been in with the steamers, which is what she'd done in the other room back there. And I said to her that the best way to steam these walls, to get this paper off, is obviously get the top layer off so it leaves you with a backing, and then just put your steamers on. She had 2 steamers on the go, so just put them in there, leave them, let them do a cycle or 2, and then come in and you can just peel this paper off the wall. Which she did, and she was over the moon with that. She thinks I'm a genius for that little tip. This will come out really well. And then I think maybe on this wall, it just peeled the paint off a little bit. So we don't know what we're going to do with that. I mean, again, she could scrape it, rub it down, you know, get a coat of emulsion on it and then do some filling, but probably skim that wall for her. But I can't do that today because all these skirtings have got to come off and she's having more sockets put in. So obviously electrician will be drilling down through walls and things. So that's for another time. So anyway, the plan is today just to get this ceiling knocked out. And then on Monday, I'm going to come back. I've just picked up all the skirtings. I'm going to get all the skirtings on for her. We're having 120mm Taurus from Howden's. Because I like Howden stuff because it comes in 4 metre lengths. You know, you haven't got to start joining in the middle if your wall is obviously under 4 metres. So that's good. We'll get all the skirtings on Monday, and then I'm going to spray all this room up. Because what I'm doing, I'm just doing a day rate for this woman because she doesn't know exactly what she wants done. So I said to her, look, I said, you're 5 minutes around the corner from me. I said, what I'll do, I'll just give you a day rate and then I'll come in and I'll do what I can within that day. So to make the day rate up, I will be getting the skirtings on in this room, and then I'm going to spray this room white. I'm going to give it all a whitewash so the ceiling will be complete. The walls will all have a coat, and then all she's got to do is just paint her walls what colour she wants. And I will also get this ceiling sprayed for her. So I think that's not bad for a day's money, is it really? Let's get on now with scraping this ceiling down. My least favourite job of them all. And then we can start thinking about sealing this up. Got some waffle this morning, haven't I? I think I feel a little bit energised this morning. So today on this ceiling, I'm going to try and make life easy for myself. I'm not going to try and have too much up and down on things. So this is the plan today. So I've got my 2 hop-ups with a board set up in them. And that is my preferred method of walking along the ceiling. I've got a pair of stilts indoors. I've got the work tool boots indoors. You name it, over the years, I've literally tried it all, and I don't like either of them things. I think they're both very dangerous. I've fallen off both of them. I've fallen off the stilts and I've fallen off the work tool boots. Either is not a good experience, especially when you're working on your own. But I've never, touch wood, tuck my head, I've never fallen off of a scaffold board, and I'm as comfortable on them as I am on the ground. This is not often you get a room that you can't just chuck a board across and get most of the ceiling, even if it means moving the hop-ups a couple of times. You know, potentially I could get another 2 hop-ups and buy another couple of boards, but I don't want that much stuff in the van, so I'm quite happy just to quickly chuck these across as I move along the ceiling. And also, we're going to have a little test of the spatches. So, in the right corner, we've got the speed skim. In the left corner, we've got the rafina. I know the blades are slightly different sizes. I have got a blade that size for the speed skim. I might put it on, and then we've got an equal chance then. And then we'll just give them a test, and we'll see which one is best, really. Without really trying it, I'm not sure. They're both very good, but I think the speed skims are a little bit more flexible. I find the rafinas have got a little bit more like rigidity to them. And I quite like the way that the corners flare out. And if you see, when you're trying to get into your corners and you're pulling away from the corners, sometimes with a speed skim, because you're trying to get right into the corner, this bit can catch that bit of the wall because it's right up to it. But with a rafina, it's just got this little bit that flares out, which obviously lets you get into the wall and pull away, but that bit doesn't catch. It's only a slight difference, but it's a big difference when you're using them, especially if you're using these on the wall, you know, not on the pole, if you're just holding them. And you want to get into the walls and pull down, you know, you can just get that point into that corner, and as you pull away, you're not catching that. So, shape-wise, I definitely prefer the rafina. And to scrape the ceiling, I've got out my old trusty floor scraper. I'm going to shut up now, probably boring you lot silly. I'm going to make a cup of tea because it's only just about 25 past 8. And you've got people next door, and I'm a bit of a sucker for not wanting to scrape ceilings at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'll give people till about, I don't know, 8:30, 8:45, and then I'll start making the noise. So let's go and put the kettle on, and then you can come and join me on the scrape. Right, got my tea on the go. I've had to have black tea today. Woman's milk was on the turn. Can't stand milk if it's on the turn. I've no idea why I did that. But yeah, I think if I visualise milk on the turn, it looks like that. Anyway, that's why I got black tea, because milk's on the turn. So, so I'm in a really stupid mood. Switch off if I'm bugging you, but I'm just in a bit of a stupid mood today. Right, so what is the plan of action today? The plan of action is obviously to start scraping these ceilings, and stay there, bear with me. You should still be able to hear me with this microphone on me. I'm going to use a mixture of SBR and PVA. And I'll tell you why that is. I like SBR's drying quality. I like its suction control. But what I don't like about SBR is it is like piss. It literally drips and runs everywhere. And that's why a lot of time I will buy Kirk stuff, because it's obviously a thicker mix. Because it's a plasterer's blend, right? It's a thicker mix, so it doesn't drip so much. And so if I add PVA in with the SBR, the neat PVA should thicken the SBR up so it's not dripping. But then since Kirk came out of his one that isn't so drippy, it's like, oh yeah, SBR is a better thing, I think, personally. I'm going to mix the two together. I'm going to create my own little plasterer's blend. I did ask the PVA genie, which, let me just show you how I did that. Oh, Genie, I have a task. A question for you I have to ask. Which do I use on the ceiling today? SBR or PVA?
I don't know. Who gives a...
All right. No need to be like that. Just asking a question. Time is 8:45. I think it's time we can start making a noise in here now. Let's make some noise. Right. I'm going to use this. Don't know how sharp the end is. It's been buried in my van for ages and ages, but let's give it a go. It's actually so much better than a normal scraper. I mean, look, you can get like, what, a metre ahead of yourself. And as well, the dust isn't coming down on you, it's ahead of you, so that's good. This is making mincemeat of this. This whole scraper's making mincemeat of this, see. Now, for those of you that are interested in this, what I'm using, this is just an old Spear & Jackson floor scraper. But with these scrapers, these floor scrapers, I suppose they're all the same. They're designed to have a bit of a kick on them, so the angle kicks back. So when you use it, the pressure is almost being applied by the angle of the blade. It doesn't rely on you to put the pressure on it, if you know what I mean. So if you're holding it against the ceiling and this blade is kicking up like it is, while you're running it along the ceiling or the floor, wherever you're using it, that angle is doing the work for you. Anyway, right, let's get on with this concoction. Right, let's use this SBR up. Got a nice lump of neat PVA in it. I'm going to put a little bit of red brick mortar dye in it. And that's it. That's all on. Now then, I'm just going to go over it. So we're going to try, first of all, we're going to try the rafina. Try the rafina first. We'll do this half with rafina and then the other half with the speed skim. Let's see how they come out. They've both got the 24-inch blades on, and the rafina is nice. I really like that. I suppose I'll say the same about this. And what I would say is, straight away with the speed skim, I feel it's got a little bit more flex in it. It's not as rigid as the rafina one. Still nice to use though, it's a little bit lighter. But I think the rafina is just a little bit more solid. But to be honest, there really isn't a lot in it. So whatever one you choose, if you're going to buy one, there really isn't a lot in it. Like I was saying earlier, the reason I like the rafina is the shape. I like the little flared wings on the corners. Also with the rafina ones, I don't know if they've changed it now because I've had that a few years, but they don't fit on a standard decorator's pole. You have to buy the special pole that clips into rafina's handle. So that's a bit of a negative point really. You know, if you was working in a team of 2 of you, you know, you couldn't just go down Screwfix and buy a normal painter's pole like this. You'd have to spend whatever money they want for their special pole. And also, whereas these just unscrew from the painter's pole, they've got like a clip, they're like buttons you've got to push in. I'll show you. They've got these buttons on the side that you have to push in to release this, and you have to really push them in. You know, they can be, although it's not a problem, it's a pain in the arse. You know, sometimes if you just really got to push them in and pull them out, especially as plaster builds up and things. So I'd say I prefer the rafina blade, but I much prefer the way that the speed skim just screws onto the pole. I mean, I don't know why rafina haven't done that. I don't know why they just don't make it a universal thing. That's all flattened in. I'm going to crack on and get a bucket washed out and get another half bucket mixed up, and then that should be ready for second coat then. Don't want to be doing this for too long today. I've just put a quick second coat on. Same mix, just put the, mixed it up with the dirty water with the same mix there. I don't really want to be spending too much time at this job today. So we're just going to go over it with a speed skim now, this 2-foot speed skim, and we're just going to walk along the ceiling, walk along the boards, which is always my preferred method of walking the ceiling. So I think the 2-foot is just a nice size really to use in your hand. Yeah, I know you can get the 48 inches and things like that, which I've got all the sizes, but even with a rafina, the 2-foot is just manageable. If you use something too big, you can find yourself keep catching the edges of the ceiling and stuff with it. So you can still see we've got a lot of dips and dents. These ceilings are completely all over the place, they really are. And that is a 2 thick coats, that is. And I've put it on with, I think that's an 18-inch Marshalltown. Might be 20, I don't know. I know Smurfs is bigger than mine, but I can never remember the sizes. What's these one? I can't remember the size of these one. But anyway, yeah, so you can see if I just get a bit of angle with the light, the speed skim just is lovely. It's just nice if you can get the hang of these. There you go. And I know some people say they go up and down with the waves of the ceiling, but if you combine it with a good, carbon trowel as well, you can't really go wrong. I mean, obviously I'm just doing this just to get the lines out and just lay it in a bit, and then I've got to put more on because I've got quite a lot of dips and dents in it, but I don't know, I just find it's quite an easy thing to use really. One of my subscribers, he's asked me a few times actually about cutting the ends off when they're brand new, because when you get the speed skim new, they can be a little bit sharp on the corners, and I will just literally give it a very slight round. You know, you don't want massive curve, obviously that's worn in over the years, but you just want to just literally go round very gently on the corner, so you're just taking the sharpness of the corner off, and then just get a little bit of sandpaper and just give it a rub. You know, you're not trying to create that much, that's way too much because that's worn in. Probably more like that, just a very sharp. So I don't know what I can explain it on really. I've got nothing really to show you, but it's just a bit of common sense. So, get all these little hollow bits filled in. Obviously you can just walk along with a trowel as well if you want to. You just go like that, walk right to the end with your trowel, just does the same thing, which is what I used to do. Obviously years ago we just had one trowel did the lot. Trouble is with keep using lots of different trowels is that you never really wear one trowel in as quick. Whereas years ago, your trowel would wear in because you used to use it for all sorts, sand and cement and whatever, and it would wear in nice. Sometimes you can find that the middles stay quite hollow. If you if you go round from the edges, pulling in from the edges, you're sort of ramping in the middle, and you can find that your middles stay hollow. So just pay close attention to filling that middle out after. Getting there now, it's starting to fill in. This ceiling's pulling in at a really lovely rate. It's just exactly how you'd want it to pull in, really. I'm not waiting for it and I'm not fighting it, it's just pulling in lovely. And again, I'm just going over it with a speed skim. Might as well just carry on using this, really. Still a bit hollow in that middle, look. If I've got a bit on there, I'd wipe it in. And what I'll do on the next pass, I'll swap for this speed skim for the rafina, and then we'll see how they perform then. I usually leave the handle on this as well. Nice. Let's take you up there and look down the line from up there. Nice. I don't know why, these just feel a little bit better to me. A little bit more rigid, like I say, and it just seems to make a little bit of a difference. And with a handle on it like that, you can really get, you know, like your angles nice. Again, you can just use it like a little trowel and just fill in your dips and your dents, your hollows, whatever they call them. Done, all finished. Polished it right up to give it a lovely shine. That's all looking good now. Just tidied up around the edges, just run around with a little trowel and scraper and just sharpen the edges off a bit. And then I shall be back to spray this on Monday. So that's come out nice, that one. I've actually quite enjoyed that today. I've enjoyed getting back to sort of old school and, you know, walking the ceiling. So join me again Monday where I'll be spraying this ceiling, putting all the skirting around this room and giving this room a spray. I'm just going to leave it as a white, fresh box. If I don't see you, have a good weekend. If I do see you, still have a good weekend. Anyway, I'll see you.